he had such a fascinating upbringing, right? And it goes back to this like deep heritage, which didn't just come, it's like a multi-generational heritage where they had a close upbringing even with his grandparents who lived across the road and were part of helping bring them up. So tied in with all that was this really tough generations of moonshiners. And I can't remember what they used to call them, but people would like ferry things along the various wetlands and rivers, and they got paid nothing. And it was real tough job. And so for them to get to the point of actually having a property was this real work ethic hadn't come through, and that kind of shone through the rest of the way in which they were brought up and the values they were brought up on, which was this almost like this work hard, play hard mentality, which is very, very, very interesting. So those early years had a massive influence on him, no doubt.
Yeah. Huge work ethic.
Yeah. Also, Jordan's parents, they were quite humble, very, very reserved. And then when you look at, say, Jordan, who's this very, very outgoing, overly confident person, but he also had these virtues within him to focus on what was important and to focus on what he wanted to focus on. And I just find it so fascinating that he broke out of this shell from being raised as being so humble and so reserved.
Yeah, it's kind of like he just had this, I guess at the start when you see him interviewed early days, he's pretty reserved, but you get him onto a basketball court and he has to be the alpha dog. In fact, in any competition, he will not want to lose. He's the most competitive person I've ever read about. So much so that, in college, they'd be having putting games in the corridor. And Jordan had never played golf before at that time. I think this is one of his college roommates in the book talks about how he'd beat him at putting and then he'd come back 2 days later and Jordan had practiced like for hours and hours and hours so that he could be competitive in this sort of hallway game. And there's another interesting one in the documentary where they're throwing coins against the wall, trying to hit a particular colour patch on the carpet, and you can see the competitiveness in him in that point. He just cannot have fun. In that instance, he must win. To him, that is fun, I guess.
Yeah, I think that is his fun.
Yeah.
Winning is where it gets fun for him.
Yeah.
And just seeing how far he can kind of push it and how hard he takes it is where he seems to see that there's the fun in it. I think Magic Johnson was noted as saying that he thought he was the most competitive person on the earth until he met Michael Jordan and he realised he was nowhere near it.
Yeah.